Hi, dreamers. I went to the beach last weekend, and I swear I had to be dragged away from it, back to reality. I literally didn't want to pack, didn't want to head to the airport, just didn't want to go. And maybe it's because I met four of my best friends there. And yes, that's probably a big part of it. Maybe it's because it was just gorgeous and peaceful. But I think it's something more. I think it's because I'm getting ever so close to a financial place where I could choose to slow down working, or choose to work remote, or both. And the closer I get, the more the siren song pulls me. At the same time, I was thinking about a comment recently from someone that said something like, even if I saved the rest of my life, I'll never get to that 1 million like what you're showing. And that made me want to give something to combat that idea. So today I want to introduce you to a wealth strategy, a concept that may change your thinking. Heck, it may change your life, whether you're just starting out or financially advanced. And it's one that I'm thinking about all over again for myself, especially after that beach trip. And I'll tell you more about what I'm thinking at the end. But this mindset and tactical trick might just help you the most to become wealthy, even if you think you'll never get to that $1 million. So here's how it goes. A few years ago, I started up a brand new brokerage account in TD Ameritrade. It's now my small taxable account, completely separate from my Fidelity retirement accounts. One reason I did this was to physically set aside money to pay off my mortgage. It's in its own bucket. Making sure this money was on its own and completely separate from my other money really clarified its purpose in my mind. My thought at the time, years ago, was once it gets to the amount of the house, I'll take it out and pay off the house. Now today, I have about $430,000 left to pay on this house. So let's take a look at what's in my TD account today. So here we are in my TD Ameritrade account. As I take a look at my investments in this account, and I scroll down to the bottom, you can see that it's at $425,137.44. So almost ready to take out, right? Well, I realized something over time. I started with no money. I started from scratch. So I've always had what I call poor person thinking, which is earn money, cut expenses, save, and then pay things off. Then in retirement, start with what you've saved and end with zero when you die. That's a drawdown strategy. Now I'm evolving to rich person thinking, which is more like, how do I live off of only the investment proceeds or dividends and make my investments grow higher even after retirement? How do I leverage assets like these? And how do I leverage debt instruments so that I don't have any drawdown? Zero drawdown. So let's get specific. The shift in thinking goes something like this. If my mortgage is $1,867 a month, which is $22,404 a year, and this account makes $23,677 a year and growing, why not just have it pay my mortgage every month and not pay off the 2.8% loan? Once the mortgage is paid, I still have this cash machine kicking out every single month. So I want you to think about that for a second. When I started this account, it was paying $1,000 total for the year, then $2,000, then $5,000. So if you were to set up a bucket like this, what would you label it? You could label it phone bill, to take one bill off your plate. And then as it grows, you could label it vacation, to have a free vacation every year. Once the snowball starts, it's amazing what can happen. Might you one day have the same thing I have here? A mortgage account? At just over $400,000, it's paying my mortgage. What's the worst that can happen? You get a free vacation or a section of your bills paid for forever? So the takeaway here is threefold. Think in terms of buckets of money to set aside and try to physically separate them for clarity. Then break down your goals into achievable micro goals. And when you reach one, set the next one. And lastly, think in terms of building income and asset streams instead of cashing out to pay something off or down. Can you imagine if I took this money and just paid off my mortgage? I'd be missing out on almost $24,000 in annual income that's going to grow and pay out forever. So now that I'm knocking on the door of achieving this long-term, multi-year goal of mine, what am I thinking? Well, I'm starting to really wonder if I could buy a home on that beach. Sure, it's been a general dream of mine, but not something where I was seriously contemplating contacting a realtor before this trip. So here's my thinking. Now that I have these investment assets, I can leverage them as collateral for another purchase. Once I purchase a beach home, I could rent it out for the next 5, 10, maybe 15 years or more as a turnkey vacation rental property in a location where a friend of mine already has a place and knows the lay of the land. I could have the rental income cover the mortgage and expenses in the near term, but also add to this separate TD account and relabel it my real estate account, so that it starts to cover the costs too, as I want to use the house more and more over time. And heck, I've already got $1,273 over what I need for my real estate costs now, so my snowball is already starting. And this might be a good time to be thinking about it, given that we could be seeing continued price drops as the real estate market cools over the next 12 to 18 months. And that might be something to watch as I ponder if this is something I might want to do. It also has real value to my life, as my family is all within driving distance of this particular location, so I could envision gatherings there for a long time. This could be one of my next bucket goals on my journey to financial freedom and designing my life experience. So that's what I'm pondering. I'd love to know what your next bucket goal might be and how you plan to separate that out and grow to reach your goal. As always, I encourage you to do your own research, implement and learn by putting it into practice. And as a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, so keep in mind these videos are for entertainment and inspiration only. I'll see you on the flip side.